Hello everybody, I'm the Rum.
And I'm the Wine.
We're a couple living here in Dublin, Ireland for the past 4 years. We make videos about what it's like moving, living and thriving here in Ireland. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please do subscribe.
And make sure to check out our old videos where we mention a lot of tips, or if you want everything concise in one package, we've also got a course, we'll link below in the description.
And with that, let's start today's video.
So accommodation is definitely one of the biggest topics on the channel, simply because it's also very expensive in Dublin or in a lot of places in Ireland. And one of the big things that I think is an important topic for a lot of expats, locals, anyone living here, is when you decide on accommodation, it's very tricky to decide, do you want to save money and go for a shared flat? Do you want to do a one bedroom even if it's on the small side? Or do I want to do a 2-bedroom where I have more freedom to have my own office? So through our course of the 4 years it is now that we've been living here, we've done all 3 of those. So today we thought we'd compare how our lifestyle changed depending on the 3 different categories, and to give you a better idea of what it's like living in different type of accommodation in Dublin.
So naturally, the rental fee for each of these properties was pretty different. So as we started the first one, that was the room in a shared flat. That was €1,000, and then the single bedroom that we didn't share with anyone, just us, that started off at €1,550. And of course our current residence, which is 2 bedrooms, this is now €1,990. Vastly different price points, and of course our lifestyle changed quite a bit in each of them. But what did change to help us move up this ladder is also our salaries. So the only reason we're really able to move from the smaller flat to the bigger flat is because they all came with either one of us, because in the beginning only one of us had a salary, then it moved to 2 salaries, and then we also had promotional increases in as well, which allowed us to be able to move into accommodation that more suited our needs. Now the interesting thing about this is that for each of these prices, we could afford them, but we always had to budget because they were right on the edge of, our comfort zone. Being
generally uncomfortable with paying that much rent to begin with.
Yes, this to put it nicely, it's that. Seeing, rental money as they have in Dublin fly off your account is enough to make anybody, clutch their pearls a little bit. So it did require, salary advances and lots of budgeting.
One other thing that makes the price comparison a bit harder is the fact that the €1,000 we paid for a shared double room, that was in 2016,
2017.
And
yeah.
4 years is a huge difference when it comes to rental prices in Dublin, because they increase quite a bit. So for example, the single, one bedroom that we were renting, in the beginning it was €1,550, but when we moved out it was actually €120 more expensive, because each year you have the increase. So by the end, that 1 bedroom that maybe seemed like only about 50% more expensive than the room in the shared house was quite a bit more expensive than that. So the next big lifestyle category is also something we like to talk about: food. So of course, might not be straightforward that our food habits would have changed that much, but if you've ever lived in a shared house with just 1 kitchen and a lot of people wanting to cook, usually around the same times, you know that sometimes you just get frustrated and you're like, whatever, we'll just get takeout. And that happened quite a bit. So obviously that had an effect on our diet as well as our finances. So one of the biggest things we were happy about once we moved to the 1-bedroom flat is that we had our own kitchen where we could cook at any time that we wanted to. So we started to cook a lot more ourselves, which was better for our diet because it was a bit healthier, but also for our finances, because it's cheaper to buy the groceries and cook stuff yourself than get to takeout. And we generally we're able to, we tried to start having a bit of a healthier lifestyle there. We started getting a vegetable subscription box from a farm, so we make sure we eat more vegetables. Now in the 2-bedroom flat where we have an even bigger kitchen, because the kitchen in the 1-bedroom, to be honest, it was tiny. We could barely have the two of us standing in there, let alone try and cook together. So the big difference now living in the bigger flat, which happens to be a 2-bedroom flat, is that we can cook together and we can also do more stuff in batches because we have a bigger freezer, so we can pre-cook more and just generally manage our groceries and cooking plans a lot more easily.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that, of course, the past year I'm moving still has been in the pandemic, so a few of these things people are naturally, I don't know if they're having less takeout, might be a bit more, but more able to have more time without the commute to cook as well. So yeah, that's a little thing that, especially if you're in these, this current time whenever you're watching this video, that their lifestyle can change depending on which accommodation you're in. So another point is fitness. Of course, in the shared flat, as you would expect, can get pretty crowded at times. So what we usually did for our own forms of exercise was hit the road, go outside, feet to pavement, just walk. Walking was basically what we did. And sometimes since you want your own space, you might walk in a lot. For just step out the door and then it's 2 hours later. That was the kind of walks you would have back there. And then in the 1-bedroom house, it changed a bit. We were also as central as we've ever been in Dublin. So we did have a lot more home workouts. Of course, we went for walks and so like that. But with the space being our own, we definitely increased the amount of home workouts we would have. So that was cool. Only caveat there is that the space was still small, which means you could only do one task at a time. Nobody could work out and, this place still be arranged in the same in the same way. So it was a little bit more time to get the place prepared, so you don't injure yourself, so you don't make as much noise.
A bit more of a hurdle as well, because if you have to plan, like when you put up your laundry, all those things, you need to know exactly when you're going to work out. You can't just spontaneously, if you felt like spontaneously working out, except, some people spontaneously feel like it, other people have to have it in their schedule and then be forced to. But it requires a lot more planning if you have a very limited amount of surface.
Which changed almost completely in the bigger 2-bedroom flat, because no longer do you have to squeeze parts of your bedroom into your living room as well, or in the case, I know some people who have the 2nd bedroom, if they're only 2 people, that's more of their workout area. For us, it's more of a office studio, but because of the extra space we have now, there's space for home workouts, but also being a bit out of the city centre, there's also nice amenities as well, such as a park. And actually in the place we're currently living in, there's actually a gym here that's part of the, the rental fee, except you know what time it is. Yeah, that's currently closed, so maybe, just maybe, when things again, we would grace, the hallowed halls of the gym. I wouldn't count on it, but if we do, we'll let you know.
So, for a lack of better words, the next category are called productivity and time management. It's more like time management for the things you do in the free time. So in our case, it's like, you're seeing it right now, videos, stuff like that. So in the shared house, obviously, it was a bit hard to try and work on those things and work on our hobbies, even when I was doing like online courses, trying to up our skills, because we mainly had a bed in a room. That was where we did everything. It was like sleep there, watch Netflix there, try to zone in and learn something, or work on video ideas, figure out how this whole video editing thing even works. So it was always a bit of a struggle to mentally switch between the different tasks, because you're basically then also sleeping in your work chair. So it can make it hard to disconnect in the evenings as well. So that was definitely one of the huge improvements when we moved to the 1-bedroom flat, where we suddenly had the bedroom not related to work at all, and just like the table where we would work at. But it's still a very small space, so you have to decide between, like we mentioned before, do you do a workout, do you do laundry, what do you do? Because you don't see this right now, but our whole video setup, the amount of lights we have around us, because Irish sun is not a reliable light source for shooting videos. It's like all of this takes a lot of effort to put up and also a lot of space. So again, we have to be very careful about planning when we would schedule our videos to shoot, because you just simply need the space and the time to set everything up. Of course, the 2-bedroom flat, again, an improvement on that, a huge improvement I'd say, because we now have our dedicated office space. So anything that happens off camera, it's just the computer's there, I can turn it on at any time, work on a script, even if I have just 10 minutes, and then leave it again, and I can disconnect from all of the working thoughts, and we go to the kitchen and cook or whatever else. And that's well, you'll probably also have noticed that the amount of videos has increased since we moved here, simply because it's become easier to shoot them.
Of course, everyone isn't trying to do a YouTube channel, so this productivity and time management thing also works for other stuff. Say you've got a hobby, trying to learn a new language. Oops, that's me again. But say you're trying to learn sewing. Let's go with sewing, or
anything that needs space, a workspace.
Yeah, it's cool to have that space and time to disconnect and just be able to zone in on your thing. Hey, even cooking as well. More space to cook. Are you bakers and people buying up the flour in earlier pandemic times? We know who you are. Yes, bigger space to make your dishes and stuff naturally come in handy.
So as a conclusion, by the way, we were bringing up the points, you might think that we're trying to argue a 2-bedroom flat is best. It's like, of course, right now that's what we like best, which is good, because that's where we live right now, and it's good that we're happy with the flat we're living in. But it was also a gradual process, because as the flats got bigger, so did, to be fair, our salaries to allow that. But also we grew a lot, we started picking up new hobbies that would also need the bigger space. Like in the beginning, in the shared house, we're just filming with our phones. We didn't have any gear, we didn't even really know how to do stuff, we were just figuring it out. And we wouldn't have needed the space to set it up, because we wouldn't have known how to do it.
And believe it or not, we more did travel videos back then. So completely different wheelhouse.
Good that we changed topic before then and realized people enjoy more hearing about expat stuff than us traveling around.
Yeah, that would have been a pickle. Interestingly enough, one of the things that I just remembered is that with the bigger space comes more things like appliances. Because that's one of the things that we also wanted to do in the bigger flat. That in the smaller flat, you'd have less amenities, something like that. So, for example, a dishwasher. And I told one of my friends, one of my Irish friends, see, I do know Irish people, so take that from work too, so take that twice. Yeah. When I said, didn't have a dishwasher, wash everything by hand, he was like, yeah, that's a real set of time that you're losing there. And that's one of the things that some of the bigger flats, even the smaller flats, for some of the amenities, some of the things that come with the flat, like the appliances, could really help make you, more productive and also just simply relax. Hard day at work, you want to see a pile of dishes? No question about how the pile of dishes got there. We'll remove all blame, but you don't really want to see it. So one of the other things there that the benefit has come with, even though it's more expensive, the truth is that in being an expat, whenever we come upon the accommodation question and lifestyle, it's really difficult to really know what you want unless you're able to look inside and know, hey, this is what I want, these are the hobbies I might want to do, this is the lifestyle, these are the activities. Then it should be much easier to be able to pick an accommodation that should be the fit for you at that point in time. It may change later on, it may remain the same. You just have to see.
Because we have to admit as well, it took us so much thinking to move to a 2-bedroom, because by the end we were kind of quite unhappy in a 1-bedroom, simply because we'd been working from home in the same tiny living room doing conference calls at the same time for 6 months. And it was still a tough decision. Do we really want to pay that much more rent for a 2-bedroom? But in pandemic times, like, we're not going to be going much on holiday or anything. So you have to kind of get your holiday vibes and have make your free time feel nice at home. So that was one of the reasons we moved here as well, even though the rent is a bit uncomfortably high but manageable. So who knows in the next years, next year, hopefully, where things start calming down, we might also change our opinions again.
And those were the ways that our lifestyle has changed, moving from a bedroom in a shared flat to a 1-bedroom flat to now a 2-bedroom flat here in Dublin, Ireland. Of course, we have many more videos like this, so please do subscribe, check those out as well, and we'll see you next time. Bis später.
Bye!